Welcome, everybody. My name is Scott Conklin. I'm the Director of Missions at Episcopal High School, and I'm here with our football coaches and some of our football players to talk about the football program at Episcopal High School. So with that, I'm going to throw it over to Coach Moroz and Coach Blunt and the players to introduce themselves.
Yeah, guys, I'm Coach Moroz. First I want to welcome you guys and thank you for coming here today. Brief introduction about myself. I'm originally from Canada. I played at Wake Forest. I played pro for 3 years. Now I've been coaching high school football for 13 years, and of which the last 3 have been at Episcopal. So it's been an amazing experience.
Hello, guys. My name is Warner Blunt. I'm one of the assistant coaches. I guess I'm the offensive coordinator here at Episcopal High School. I've been coaching high school football now for, 8 years. So it's really, the years are starting to add up. But it really is one of probably my favorite part of being a faculty member at Episcopal High School. I walked on at the University of Virginia. Played in high school. I actually attended Episcopal High School. Played quarterback, linebacker. Love the game and love getting the opportunity to coach young people, because I think football is a game. It's probably the best team sport on earth, and I'm happy to be a part of it here at Episcopal High School.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ben Condemi. I'm a senior. This is my second year at Episcopal. I'm originally from Chantilly, Virginia, and in addition to being on the football team, I'm on the swim team and track teams, and I'm a senior monitor on the freshman boys dorm, and I'm on the honor council.
Hello, my name is Javen Plummer. I'm a junior at Episcopal High School, and this is my first year. I live in Fredericksburg, Virginia, but I am originally from California, and this is my first year, so I'm ready to get to know everything and everyone.
Great. Thanks, guys. Coach Moroz and Coach Blunt, can you just talk about some of the highlights of the program?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go first, and Coach Blunt, you can certainly jump in or kind of fill in the gaps as we go. First off, I'm extremely lucky to have a phenomenal, very experienced, very qualified coaching staff. You heard from Coach Blunt, who obviously played at the University of Virginia. A number of our coaches are former college athletes, so they know what it takes to play at a very high level. And our players can certainly speak about our coaching staff as well. Some of our goals for our program, I think, is to create a culture that has a family atmosphere. I think that's extremely important to me as a coach. I want our practices to be a place where my kids can come around, where we can have parents there. We really want to focus on us being a family, but at the same time, we want to create a fun atmosphere. I think our practices are a lot of fun. They're high tempo, high energy. We pump in a lot of music during practices, so our guys are often dancing and having a good time. But our players are going to be coached hard, but at the same time, they know that the coaching staff really care about them on and off the field. And I think that's extremely important to me, is creating an experience that's positive for everybody in our program, from those guys that are major D1 national athletes that are going to go on and play, Power 5 college football, to guys that don't know what 1st and 10 mean or have ever touched a football. So that's a number one kind of priority for me, is to make sure that regardless of what level of football or experience you have, that you're going to have a meaningful and enjoyable experience at Episcopal. Now, what I want out of an athlete. So, some people often ask me this. Big thing I want is to be coachable. Come to Episcopal, be coachable, and a positive attitude. This is something that I stress to our players, almost every day on a daily basis during practice. You have to come with a positive attitude. So I think if you come with those two things, and you're interested in playing football for us, again, regardless of your level, beginner to national D1, Power 5 recruit, if you can come to us with being coachable, and being positive, I think that's going to be a step in the right direction. You can see on this next slide, here is all of my contact information, obviously my email address. So I'd love to hear from you guys. If you have any additional questions, you guys can please feel free to follow up and contact me. There's my email address there. Now, one thing you're going to notice, throughout these pictures, is our energy from our students and our fans, and I think that's an important aspect of our program, and kind of what sets us apart, I think, is the fact that we are 100% boarding, and I think that's huge in the fact that we all support each other. And again, our players can probably attest to this a little bit more, but our games are well attended. The spirit and kind of just the life of our program is strong at our school. You can see our student section there at I think that was our Friday Night Lights game. Very strong, very passionate student sections at our games. Our facilities, I think, are pretty unbelievable. From our stadium, the bowl that we play in and that we practice in, can't ask for a better football stadium than that. We also have our weight room. We have a full-time strength and conditioning coach that comes in and works with our players. And of course, a very nice locker room. And that's kind of the nice thing about our facilities and kind of the advantage of boarding school is that a lot of our players, these facilities are going to be open in the evenings after dinner time. So again, regardless of where you are and what kind of level of athlete you are, if you want to come and just have a great experience at practice, go to dinner and then go back to your room, that's fine. But at the same time, we've got a lot of guys that are trying to play at a very high level that will take advantage of these facilities, whether that's in the evenings or on weekends, that they're kind of available for you guys to kind of reach whatever level and whatever goals you want to reach. Now, with that being said, let me pass it over to Coach Blunt, who is our offensive coordinator. Again, he's also we've been coaching together, actually, I believe, together for about 7-8 years again. So this is a guy that I trust greatly. He's a phenomenal coach and knows a lot about our school and very passionate about it as well.
Yeah, thanks, Coach Moroz. I think Coach Moroz hit on a really important point in the fact that there's positivity associated with this program. I think our players can agree, our student body can agree that football games at Episcopal High School mean something to this place, and there's a positive, aura around it. The players have a lot of pride in wearing the maroon and black. I think our student body really appreciates the talent, the excellence on the field, and really sort of there are good vibes associated with the program, talented and multi-talented kids. So I think Ben mentioned that he's also on the honor committee and he's also on the swim team. So there are members of this team, this program that add a lot to it. So it's a really sort of a diverse crowd, and I'm talking about just the different interests, the skill level. It's a really cool thing to be a part of. I think another thing that I would really sort of hit on is sort of the tradition. Episcopal football has been around for a long time. The school was founded in 1839, but football is one of the first sports at Episcopal High School, is baseball and football, and that has been that has set the stage for a program that really is important to a lot of people across the country and across the world. So a lot of our players, I think, maybe last couple of years, we've had players from 8 or 10 different countries as well playing for our team. So it's a tradition and a program that's really important to the school. Some highlights I guess I would talk about would be some of our competition. I mean, we play in a very competitive league. We play against teams that are all boys schools. We play against teams that we have a local rival is St. Stephen St. Agnes, which is a school right across the road. And then I think one of our biggest game, our Super Bowl, I think we joke about, is the Woodbury Forest game, where we've played 116 games in a row, and that's spun over 2 world wars, the Great Depression. This game means a lot to a lot of people. The Woodbury Forest game, which I'm sure our students might talk about, or Mark or Coach Moroz will mention again. But and I think I'll echo his point about our facilities. I mean, they are the nicest high school facilities I've probably ever seen. And I think that plays a large role in just getting you as a potential player healthy and safe and prepared for a season. That means a lot to a lot of people, and you'll feel a part of this community by being a part of this team. That's it.
Awesome. Appreciate that, coaches. I'm going to have a couple questions for the Ben and Javen. Can you guys talk a little bit about what it's like to be on the football team? What's the team like? Games, practices, whatever you guys want to talk about in terms of being members of the football team.
Sure, I can start. I think the thing that Coach Blunt said, the rich tradition that's here at Episcopal, it just really shows every day. After games, it'll be really cool to hear from your teachers who were maybe at the game and they saw you play, and they'll actually have that personal connection with you, having seen you play, and it just adds to the allure of coming to a place like this. Additionally, I think being on a team that comes to school 2 weeks early during our preseason camp, it just helps you as a new student make friends, because I mean, everyone's coming here from different states, different countries, like Coach Blunt mentioned, and personally coming as a football player and meeting and living with all these guys for 2 weeks before everyone else came definitely helped me get my foot in the door and start crafting these relationships that, I mean, I've cultivated over the past year, and they're some of the longest lasting relationships that I've developed.
This year I did not have the option to come to school or campus 2 weeks early because of COVID. But even with that, practices, just getting to know players on like dorm or around the school, it's so positive, and everyone's out there out to help for each other, look out for each other, and everyone really cares and wants to see each other get better. The traditions, I'm looking forward to learning more new traditions, and I'm like really excited to see what is to come.
Great. Yeah, I know this fall has been a little bit of a different experience for what you guys normally are able to do, and there's a lot of excitement around playing the game in Woodbury Forest in a couple months. Another question for Javen and Ben. How have you found, just the ability as a student athlete at Episcopal High School to balance your expectations as an athlete, as a football player, with academics, with your social life? How does that all work throughout the day?
It's certainly difficult, but you have help around you, all around you, the coaches, players, your advisor that can help you get through it and adjust to the life of being a student athlete at Episcopal. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, Draven hit it on the head. I think also the benefit of living and playing in a community where everyone sort of knows who you are. You can work with your teachers. Say you have a game that cuts into your learning time, or you have to leave early for a game or practice. Your teachers will work with you in order to help you finish whatever assignment you have. It's not like being an athlete will take away from your time in the classroom. And additionally, your social life it isn't really ever affected by being an athlete. We have set practice times. It never cuts into our dinner time or anything like that. And I find myself creating a lot of relationships on dorm after practice, and especially the relationships you craft in the locker room with the guys are ones that'll stick with you.
All right. Question for the coaches. And I coached football at Episcopal for 6 years, and certainly miss being on the field. But one of the things I love about the football program is the mix of talent levels and ability levels. And can you talk a little bit about that in terms of, what it might look like for that high-end athlete who is looking to play at a Power 5 school, or that kid who just wants to be on the football team, and what that experience would be like for them.
Yeah, and again, I think the fact that all of our players live on campus, I think that I cannot speak enough about why that's so important, especially to that high level player like somebody like Jamin, who's got some pretty incredible offers from places like Stanford and Cal, Virginia. He's got probably about 10, 15 offers now. So, but a guy like him, who can really, excel at a place like Episcopal, just because, your commute to things is you're talking about maybe a 3-minute walk from your dorm to the practice field, a 3-minute walk probably from dinner, then back to your room, then to the weight room. There's really no time to drive and have to worry about commute times. The fact that everything is is pretty much in your house is a phenomenal resource for our kids. And that, again, the fact that our coaches live on campus. You guys know where we are. And even our off-campus coaches, they're constantly coming on to do workouts with our guys, whether that's in the evenings, in the off season, in the mornings, whatever it takes. Our coaches, I think, are very accessible. We eat meals together. I think that's a unique aspect. I can grab a guy that might have made a small error in practice, and we can kind of make a correction as we're standing in line to get a meal together, or we can have a meal together. I think that kind of connection that we have, and the resources for that high level player is very important. But at the same time, I think we do a phenomenal job just trying to make the game of football accessible for everybody. And again, if that's for somebody that's never heard of 1st and 10, and I find myself, constantly trying to slow down. I think we do a nice job of finding that balance of, again, coaching at a very high level, but at the same time, trying to make our schemes and our systems as easily as possible to understand for somebody that might be new to the game. And at the same time, I think our coaches do a phenomenal job just having patience and understanding the level of football that you'd be coming in with. So I think we have the ability to create an atmosphere for guys to, again, play at those high level places like Stanford, Notre Dame. But at the same time, if you're coming into Episcopal and you might never played before, we can also guarantee you a very positive experience.
Coach Blunt, I know you've played in the game, and you've coached in the game. Can you just talk about what that tradition is, and what that means to the school, and what that game is like for the players and the coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, I had the pleasure to start at quarterback at 3 of those games, and I'd tell you what the weather was. I could tell you the opening drive. I can tell you all sorts of stuff about it because I think it just means so much. I think I talked about tradition earlier, but I mean, it's just something that there's no other game like it. I mean, you can have a really poor season and beat Woodbury, and that's everybody. Anybody talks about is beating Woodbury, or vice versa. If you have a good season, you lose that game, you probably think about it for a long time. So I think just the excitement, I think all athletes, regardless of sport, when you get a chance to perform on a big stage, perform in a big game, it feels different. And there's a different vibe associated with it. There's a different practice is tougher. It's an experience like no other. And that's really sort of how I would describe the Woodbury game, and sort of how important it is to both fan bases. And also just how high level athletes, or even like we were talking about, students who might just started playing football, can all collectively feel that energy and feel that source of pride and that sort of that game and its magnitude. No matter if you're a starting running back or if you're third string defensive back, I mean, I think everybody can sort of feel that energy, and I think that's probably the most exciting thing about being a football player at Episcopal High School and playing in that game is just the energy associated with it. They might as well not even hold classes the week before that game, because it's just the student body's into it. There's a pep rallies. The energy is really sort of what I probably can't describe and what I'm trying to describe to you now.
Yeah, nothing like having 6,000 to 8,000 fans supporting you and going crazy in the stands. Ben and Javen, can you talk a little bit about the relationships you have with the coaches and how they support you as a football player, but also as a person?
I think the way that our program is run is you start to have a really, really good relationship with your position coaches. And I've been fortunate to have two great position coaches, Coach Eric Noel and Coach Dan Malloy. And they've seen abilities and talents within me that I maybe didn't see in the moment, and encouraged me. They've coached me hard, like Coach Moroz was saying, and they've really tried to bring the best out of me. And I think they do that on the field, and also just during the week, I've gotten calls from Coach Malloy talking about a play that the Chiefs just ran and how we should defend it. Coach Noel has done film sessions with us over Zoom during the quarantine, just trying to keep us mentally sharp and help us learn the game. And I think overall they just exemplify what it is to be a good role model as a football player and as a person as well.
Yeah, Ben basically summarized most of it. The coaches they care for you a lot, and they become more than just a coach to you. You can look up to them as a mentor. You can call them for anything, talk about them with anything. It doesn't have to be football related. You can joke around, have fun with them, but we know when the time comes to be serious, focus, stay sharp, and they help us with that. They see abilities in us that we don't think we have, like Ben mentioned, and they've progressed us as a player and as a person. And I'm really grateful to have all of these coaches this year.
Great. Thanks, guys. To the coaches, and Ben touched on this a little bit, just the early return piece. And that's such an important part of the season. And it's nice that you guys have that time, just to work with the players, and we're not taking classes at that time. How does that work? How does a player get to come to early return? What do those 2 weeks look like for a returning student and also a new student?
Yeah, so early return has traditionally been we've had it primarily for sophomores to seniors. But if you feel like you're maybe a freshman that might be a new student at our school, that you feel like you are maybe in a position that you feel like you can compete and want to come to training camp, that is something that just reach out to me beforehand. We've had freshmen that have started on varsity. So just because you're a freshman doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to start on varsity or even have that opportunity. So I would say that training camp is as close to, a college camp as you're going to get. And again, that's the fact that we're all, again, we live here, we share our meals together. You're going to have in-depth film sessions. We will even do, indoor practices. We have a phenomenal indoor facility. We'll even do things, try to take care of your bodies as well. We'll do, like pool workouts. We'll do pool stretches. Our defensive coordinator actually likes to do Tai Chi with our players. We'll do yoga, stretching sessions. And I think you're going to find that, training camp, I think, is a time. It's going to be difficult. It's a challenging 2-week session because, again, we got to cram in probably about 2 months worth of work in about 2 weeks, which I think our coaches do a phenomenal job of working, and our players too. I think we take pride in kind of working smarter and not harder necessarily. You're going to be pushed, but at the same time, we're very we recognize how important your safety and your health is. And once training camp breaks, we actually very rarely ever go full pads and hit full contact in practice. So I think we find that mix of pushing you guys mentally just as hard as we do physically. But again, I think with all the resources that we have during training camp, we use it. Again, it's going to feel just like a college camp would, and it would prepare you for what that experience would be like.
All right, last question for Ben and Javen. But if you had to give some advice to a prospective football player, student that's applying, looking to come to Episcopal and play football, anything that you would share with them?
I would say come confident, but also humble and ready to learn. As an athlete, you should definitely believe in yourself, be confident in yourself, think that every rep that you're going to do is going to be the best to your ability, and then also be ready to accept coaching at the same time.
Yeah, so you have to be very coachable. Get to know everybody beforehand if you can, like on social media. And when you get there, create bonds with your teammates and coaches, and just have fun, really, and make sure you're paying attention and focusing.
Great, thanks. Yeah, Ben, go ahead.
Real quick, I forgot to mention, going back to our relationships with the coaches. I think Coach Moreau's job is a little bit understated because not only is he our head coach, but he also does all of the recruiting coordination for us. Last spring, pre-COVID, I would get lots of texts from him telling me, "Hey, come down, meet this coach. Hey, I've been sending out your information to these coaches, blah, blah, blah." And so I think in addition to his coaching on the field, he's definitely a support figure in the recruiting area if you're looking to go play college.
Great point, Ben. Coach Moreau, Coach Blunt, any closing comments here?
Yeah, I'll go before I'll let the big guy kind of close us out here. But just, I think Javen and Ben put it really, really well in terms of just be humble, but be connected. If you're looking at Episcopal High School, come to Episcopal High School because you want to be a better student, get to know more people, really get to, be the best person that you can be. Obviously, we've all stated it here. We've all become better people, including Coach Conklin, because of the game of football, and that you can expect that here, but given all the reasons that we've already discussed. But football is a large part of Episcopal High School, and it will make you a better person if you have the right mindset that these young men have discussed earlier.
Yeah, perfect, Coach. And to kind of to build upon that, one thing that I have in my mind is the Vince Lombardi quote that winning is not a sometimes thing; it's an all the time thing, and that's the attitude that we want our players to have. And I think that, Javen and Ben are great ambassadors for our program, but more importantly for our school. I mean, they're successful on the field, but they're also successful in the classroom. They're successful in the community and in their relationships. And I think this is a place where, you get what you put into it. The more you kind of invest into Episcopal, the more return that you're going to get. So I appreciate you guys, tuning in today. And hopefully you guys, learned a little bit about, kind of from our players and coaches, what we're all about. But again, please reach out to us if you have any additional questions, and I look forward to hearing from you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, coaches. Thanks, Ben and Javen for joining us and sharing all those thoughts about the football program. For those prospective football players out there, Coach Moreau's mentioned it, but you can reach out to him or Coach Blunt or Ben or Javen would be happy to answer your questions as well. So we're excited to meet you and hope you're playing football in the Hummel Bowl and during the game in the fall of 21.